The following documentary was filmed in July 2007. We follow the events of the Normandy invasion, and we start with the British sector at Pegasus Bridge. Often referred to as the coup de main of Operation Tonga, the capture of the two bridges over the Caen Canal and the River Orne was a crucial objective for the Allies. Major John Howard led the 2nd Ox and Bucks Regiment in 6 hawser gliders, of which 3 landed some 160 feet from the Caen Canal Bridge at 16 minutes past midnight on June the 6th. The lead glider, containing Major Howard, penetrated the barbed wire as planned, but the shock of the landing rendered everyone unconscious and had ejected the pilots from the cockpit. The Germans were not alerted to their presence, as they mistook the sound for falling debris from an Allied bomber. But one platoon rushed over the bridge to capture the other side, led by Lieutenant Dan Brotheridge. Whilst clearing out a machine gun position with grenades, he was mortally wounded when shot through the neck, becoming the first Allied casualty on D-Day. 1st Platoon were then joined by 2nd Platoon, who had taken the eastern side of the bridge. Glider number 3, however, suffered heavy damage on landing and resulted in many soldiers injured, and one unfortunate soldier, Lance Corporal Greenhall, drowned in a nearby lake as a result of the crash. Lieutenant Smith managed to reorganize his team and charged the western side of the bridge. The Royal Engineers who accompanied Major Howard's men went about their task of disarming the bombs supposedly planted on the bridge. Although the wires were in place, no bombs were found. The Germans were defeated swiftly, and Benneville Bridge had been successfully captured. Over at Ranville Bridge, 2 of the 3 gliders landed on target. The other landed on the River Dees and took no part in taking the bridge. They met a solitary machine gun position that was repulsed by precision mortar fire from the 6th Platoon, and the bridge had been taken before the 5th Platoon had arrived. The radio man then sent the call sign for victory, Ham and Jam, which was the code word for the capture of the 2 bridges. It had taken just 10 minutes to capture both bridges, thanks in part to the precision flying of the glider pilots and the swiftness of the assault. The positions were reinforced by the 6th Airborne and the 7th Battalion of the Parachute Regiment as the Germans began their counterattack. Soldiers from 6th Commando, led by Lord Lovett and accompanied by his piper, Bill Millen, and the 2nd Battalion of the Royal Warwickshires, relieved the situation, and by 10 PM on D-Day, the area was under British control. The commander in the area was Major Hans Schmidt of the 716th Infantry Division, and he had 50 men guarding the bridges. Seemingly unaware that the bridges had been taken, he was met by 5th Platoon on trying to cross Ranville Bridge in his staff car. He was met by machine gun fire, which killed his escort rider and the driver, who was only 16 years old. Major Schmidt demanded to be shot rather than surrender, but after a dose of morphine, he was happy to spill the beans. Overlooking Sword Beach, the Merville Battery contained 4 150mm guns that would cause a serious threat to the invasion. The battery was manned by 160 men. The 9th Battalion of the Parachute Regiment, led by Lieutenant Colonel Terence Otway, would land in Normandy at 050 hours and assault the battery at 0400 hours on the 6th of June. The site was well defended with barbed wire fences, a minefield and an anti-tank ditch around the northern perimeter. Inside the perimeter, the site was defended by several machine gun nests and 3 anti-aircraft guns. To attack the battery, Otway had a complex plan. An advance party of 4 would cut through the barbed wire fencing, marking out the route through the minefield. Prior to the raid, a bombing run would be carried out by the RAF, which was supposed to soften up the position for the main assault. Following the raid would be the 9th Battalion, supported by the Royal Engineers of the 591st Parachute Squadron, who would bring in a multitude of vital equipment with them. At 4:30, a diversionary attack by the 4th Platoon and a sniper fire would attack the main gate. Then the 3 hawser gliders would land, the rest of the force allowing the assault of the battery to take place. If they failed to reach the objectives, then the HMS Arethusa would fire on the battery at 5:30 AM. When put into action, however, the plan fell apart. The poor visibility over the drop zones meant that the paratroopers were dropped up to 10 miles away from their objective. By 0250, only 150 of the expected 650 men had arrived at the rendezvous point, and none of the support equipment had arrived. Otway made the decision to attack, and upon arriving at Merville, he discovered that the bombing raid had missed it entirely, but that the advance party had cleared 4 lanes through the minefield. At 4:30, the order to attack was given. Major Parry's A and C companies were spotted, and the Germans opened fire. Sergeant Knight quickly dispatched 3 of the machine gun positions by rushing them with bayonets drawn and tossing grenades. One of the 3 gliders landed on target, another landed 2 miles away, and a third never crossed the English Channel after its tow rope snapped. Otway then ordered the main assault on the casemates, and upon breaching them each soldier placed and detonated their gammon bombs on the guns. At 5 o'clock, the battery was silenced with 124 casualties, and the British suffering 65 casualties. The story of the assault on the Merville battery will forever be told as one of great strength and adversity, as the battery was taken with a much smaller force than what had been envisioned. The footage you are now watching is a demonstration of the assault of the Merville battery in No. 1 casemate.